Okay, today we're having a look at the Star Wars Microgalaxy Squadron Millennium Falcon. We'll go ahead and get right into it. Straight into the ship. As you can see, it's a little difficult to get in frame, but I'll do my best here. Just give you a general look around, overview. It's pretty big. It's still not as big as I thought it was going to be, which is definitely a plus for me because I'd rather things were smaller than bigger. I think this is pretty much perfect. I wouldn't have made it any smaller or bigger than this. They squeezed a lot of features into this big guy, so there's a lot to go over. First, we'll start up at the cockpit. Give you a look at that there. There's your see-through. You just pop it open like that, and it's a four-seater. And it's got the tall headrests of the back chairs, too, and the little door. They definitely did the best they could to cram as many seats in there as they could. There's your look at the detail in the cockpit there. And there's actually a lot of detail up at the top too. You'll never see it, but still cool nonetheless. The dish is removable. It comes removed and you're meant to pop it in yourself. Just goes in like that. Go around to the gun here. The gun actually comes out like that. And this is a separate piece that can fully articulate like that. And you plug it in to this little slot here, and you can shift it around and put it in any position you want. And there's just enough friction in the gun to keep it from moving when you shake it around, but I foresee over time these getting very weak. There's a look at the gun itself, the quad cannon. That is a respectable job. Here's a look at the interior of the little gunner seat. I haven't been able to get a figure to sit in it properly. It just kind of jiggles around in there. But good visibility from the cockpit. I'll show you what that looks like with a character in it later. Go ahead and plug that back in, I guess. It's a little loose in there. I don't love that. I wish there was a little more friction in here. There's a little peg here to stop it from coming out, but if you face it forward, it comes out like that. And that's kind of where I want to put the cannon, but I think you're meant to swing it around like that and then keep it like that. Kind of balances out a little better if you do it that way. Onto the underside of the ship there. Again, kind of difficult to get into frame, but these little slots here are your landing gear. I feel like this one is a little gratuitous. You probably could have gotten away with keeping that a little more flush. It does need to move though, so I understand why they did it. But the landing gear folds out like that. Pretty easy. I would prefer that the landing gear hides away better like this, because it doesn't look great. Let's fold out the rest. It doesn't look great when you fold it all out like that, because from one side it's just, a panel. But I still would prefer the way that they've done it here, where it folds up so nice and flush. I love that. I definitely prefer that they did it this way than any other way. I don't know if I'm in the minority on that. Let me unfold it all for you so you can see how it looks. Stands up pretty well, just like that. Doesn't jiggle, it's pretty steady. And then there's a ramp for boarding that hides up incredibly well. If you didn't read the instruction manual or look at the back of the box, you wouldn't even know it's there. You pull it down like that. There's no locking mechanism, so it does shake a little bit like that, but it still looks pretty good when it's sitting down on the floor. And it has two little locking pegs right there that lets you lock it up so it doesn't flop out. Close these up. Move around to the interior. This whole panel comes off in one big piece, just like that. There's the piece. A little bit of detail. We'll go over the electronics. Yes, this does have electronics. We'll go over that in a sec. Here's just a look at we'll start at the Deseric table. It's got space for all your characters. Obviously, it's not to scale. There's no, hallway here or anything, and this room should be a lot bigger. But a lot of that's on Lucasfilm for making the interior of the Millennium Falcon like 50 times the size of the exterior. But you got your little hallway. And then you actually get a little compartment. Let me pop it out here. There we go. A little compartment for your character to hide in on the Death Star. A little smuggling compartment. Put that back. Oh, I'll lock that in later. There's a look at the little storage room there. You have some of whatever, probably some soup cans. Because you know Han and Chewie are up in space for quite a while. Don't hit ports very often, I don't think. There's a little bit more of the interior detail. The ramp doesn't come up to the, the rest of the ship properly. There's like a little break, but I would assume that they did that for a reason. There's a little cutout for you to see the gun chair right in there when the whole thing's spinning, like so. And then you'll see these two buttons here, and then a bunch of lights. Well, what do these do? Well, you press this button, and it turns on like that. Let me go ahead and put the top on and show you what the lights do. So you press this button, and you get your awesome Millennium Falcon lights. There is a little bit of bleed through, and you notice that it's motion activated, the lights. I'm not going to be able to keep that on for most of the video. There's a bit of bleed through down here when you turn the lights on. It also has sounds, a specific button for the turret firing sounds, which is a great idea. Awesome. So if you want just sounds and no lights, you press that button. And if you keep pressing it, you can actually override the previous one, so you can, keep shooting as long as you like. You don't have to wait for the sound to end to start another one. There's your demo there. And then I'll see if I can get all the sounds to play. It's quite loud. There's one. There's two. Three. And I think that's it. And then if you don't move it, it just stays on, which is great. I love it. If you just want it on, then it'll stay on. That's very well designed. I love the lights and sounds on this toy. I think it's fantastic. Just puts a big old smile on my face. The only overt issue I can find on this is the fact that the panel doesn't seat very well right here. But I've seen other Falcons that have panels that do, so I think mine's just a lemon. Doesn't bug me too bad. Let's go ahead and have a look at the figures here. Start with Leia, because she was the first one I picked up. Pretty good looking paint on this figure. Definitely a very good representation of Leia. Sculpt on the face does a lot of the work, but the hair looks great too. Here's the Chewie figure. He's a little more kind of transparent-y than I'd like. But still a good figure nonetheless. They all have the full articulation. Oh. Here's Han. Now, the paint on this one is just fantastic. That is Han Solo right there. He's got the blue pants. I mean, this is probably the most colors they've actually put on any one MGS figure. Very good looking Han figure. Here's the Obi-Wan Kenobi figure. Right there. Again, very good paint. These are some of the best painted figures of the entire line. They do a great job representing who they're supposed to represent. There's all your figures. Go ahead and look over the insert for the package right here. It's a little big to get in the frame, but you can see there's a Star Destroyer, some X-Wings. This is a familiar one. It's no different than some of the ones we've gotten in the smaller fighters. We'll leave that there for a sec. See if I can get the whole box in frame. The box is massive. There's your lights and sounds. Micro Galaxy Squadron. Number 0022. There's the side of it. And there's the back explanation of features. There's the rest of the ships. Still missing this one and this one. I'll pick them up eventually. Pretty good render there. There's your top. There's your other side, lights and sounds. There you go for that. If you want to compare it to the Starfighter class, we'll go ahead and do that real quick. I have a TIE Fighter with me. We can replicate the Death Star escape if we like to. That's it compared with a standard Microgalaxy Squadron TIE Fighter. It's difficult to get in frame, but there's your little size comparison right there. And that's about it. I suppose I could show you the a character sitting inside of the turret. I'll do my best to get Han in there. Like I said, he just kind of flops around. You gotta hook his legs around. There he goes, and they just kind of sit in there like that. And that's how they look in the gunner position. So definitely pretty awesome. I love that there's great visibility to the gunner inside there. We'll go ahead and pop him back in. And of course, all the characters can fit in their respective seats pretty well. Some of them do jiggle around, I found. But that's definitely, it can be forgiven. That's about it for the Millennium Falcon. That's all I got for you today.